What's going on, guys, and welcome back. Tis the holiday season. Most of the time, it's a joyous season. There's a lot to be thankful for. I love it all. But today is all about negativity. You. Why are you the way you choose to be? I hate you. Anyway, now odds are you have played or you've seen Mr. Negative decks before, and so you decide to crack it open and try it yourself, and this is what you expect.
I am Iron Man.
Wakanda forever! Victory!
But oftentimes, most of the time, dare I say, this is what you typically get. You see, Mr. Negative isn't really for everybody, and there's a couple of reasons why. He's a very crazy deck in Marvel Snap because most competitive decks within the game, they've got a few win conditions built in, right? A couple of cards and combos that if you don't draw X card, you got Y card and all is great, right? But with Mr. Negative, this is a very high-level trade secret pro-level strategy. You pull a ramp card, you pull Mr. Negative, and most of the times you're gonna win. Pretty complex stuff, right? But there is a lot more to it to actually being successful with Mr. Negative. A lot of top 500 players that I've been talking to, myself included, I play a lot of Mr. Negative, and I'm climbing successfully, especially in today's meta with Mobius sitting on the sidelines. There's a lot to learn on how to go all in with him, when to play your cards or hands. Today, we're going to dive into everything you need to know about the new era of Mr. Negative. Let's go ahead and start off with the cards, the combos, and everything you need to know. Let's go ahead and start at step one, the ramp, right? You guys know by now, the sooner you play Mr. Negative out, the more negative affected cards you're going to get, and obviously your chances of winning are pretty high. But the thing is, nowadays, there's some flipped negative cards that are so good that you really don't have to worry all too much. The more of these you put in, the worse your odds are going to get. Psylocke is probably the weakest option at the moment, I would guess, out of the three that you have to play, but definitely is suitable if you don't have access to the other two or you're missing one of them. And if you get one of these and you get Mr. Negative, you're going to be good to go, and you definitely should be snapping out at that point, obviously. Now, Ravonna Renslayer and the massive change to this card is huge for Mr. Negative and dramatically made him more competitive because Ravonna synergizes with those cards and kind of gives you an alternative win condition just in case you don't get negative. And then if you get her down, then you really got things cooking, right? Zabu is the other one, as you guys know, and there's not a lot of 4-cost cards that you'll have in your negative decks. And so he doesn't have a huge value outside of just simply ramping out Mr. Negative. If I get Ravonna a little bit later, I can play some really cool flip power cards, and we'll get to that here in a second. Now, with Mr. Negative, there are definitely cards that you have to include in the deck. Ones that really skyrocket the viability of Mr. Negative decks. But then there are ones that are pretty damn good as well, and these are more flavor picks, if you will. And then we're going to sprinkle in a couple of tech options that I think are very important to start playing in Mr. Negative decks to combat a lot of the best decks out there in Marvel Snap. Now, before we continue, I want to quickly say thank you to today's video sponsor, Warcraft Rumble, a mobile action strategy game set within the Warcraft universe. You'll build your forces using both minis and spells, taking on one of the huge 3 game modes that it has to offer, a single-player campaign, head-to-head PvP, and dungeons with raids coming soon. Now, if competitive PvP is what you're all about, I just came back from Rumble Mania live from my first ever BlizzCon. It was an absolute blast with huge and epic matchups such as Afu versus Molt, we have Esfand versus OJ, and of course, Towley versus our very own Dexter. The event really showcased the competitive nature behind Warcraft Rumble and in traditional Blizzard fashion. It's easy to learn, but hard to master, guys, with an immense amount of depth that rewards experimentation. Super pumped all together to check out a new game that Blizzard has created and just really dive all into it. Again, we just scratched the surface. There's guilds, raids are coming very soon. And guys, if you want to download Warcraft Rumble yourself, you can do so using the link down in the description below. Now let's go and take a peek at the graphic here and talk about the most essential Mr. Negative cards to include in your decks. Hell, if you just have these, you're going to be good most of the time. And we kick things off with Jane Foster. Now, you see, Jane Foster Negative has been alive since the beta even, but it's gotten better and better as time has progressed in Marvel Snap. Different updates such as capping the cost of 6, and it's kind of a trap card. You need to include it, but when you do so, people feel like they need to put all of these 0 power cards in their deck, and then when they swap, you play Jane Foster and you're feeling good. But you really don't need to. A couple of cards are going to get the job done, and then you can complement those or add your own spice or sizzle, if you will. Mainly, guys, Noel and Arnim Zola are going to be the biggest win conditions. Hell, if you pull both of these with Jane Foster, you're going to win. It's a very hard combo to beat most of the time outside of an alive play. But Jane Foster gives you good priority, which sometimes you can end up beating out the alive priority. Now, outside these cards just kicking ass whenever they flip the cost and the power, they also synergize with Ravonna Renslayer. So if you happen to draw them in your starting hand, it's not the end of the world, and you can play Noel down, or you can play Arnim Zola down early. And we're going to look at other cards that can complement here. Same goes for things like Iron Man, obviously very good card to be pairing up with Ravonna Renslayer. Mystique, most of the time, should always be in your decks as well, because again, you have this alternate win condition. You play Ravonna, you never pull Mr. Negative. You can play both of these guys on turn 6, Iron Man and Mystique, that is. And usually, with Jane Foster even, this could be enough to win you the game. The other cards that you probably should include that are just great options, some of these you could consider must includes. Black Panther is a very popular pick because Arnim Zola is an essential card, and obviously Black Panther and Arnim Zola is enough to just hands down win you the game. Shuri going down to 1 power is awesome now for Mr. Negative. I don't see her in enough lists either, so I think this is a great card as well. Darkhawk is one that I see all of the time, and I go back and forth. Darkhawk, one of the best cards in the game. You kind of have to complement them with some other cards, and that can be tricky in a negative deck, because if you pull those cards after the negative effect, really not as great. But simply just Rock Slide is typically enough value because he does flip most of the time in that power, and also obviously synergizes with, you guess it, Ravonna Renslayer. Outside of that, we have Ironheart, who's a good flip card. White Tiger after the buff is awesome as well. Things like Wong and Magic, Valkyrie, you start getting a little more greedy, but they, oftentimes work with what you're trying to accomplish. Wolf's Bane has been a timeless negative card that you can play, and a lot of people elect to do so if they pick the Wong package. And then, of course, you've got the Purple Cloud Alliance. Simply put, just too good. If you get this guy flipped and you can play him for 3 cost, it's crazy good. Clearly, this could probably be an essential, but we'll put him here for now. Now, if you don't have Ravonna or you want to lean into the Zabu synergy, a lot of the times you don't have 4-cost cards to play in the negative deck. That's where things like Jubilee come in. I think Jubilee's great to pull down like a Jane Foster. You win the game pretty much right then and there. Right now in this meta, Super Scroll, 2 cost. Copying all the effects is a win condition just by himself, and then also has that Zabu synergy. It could be another alt win condition, especially if you don't have a card like Ravonna. In a nutshell, guys, it's kind of your pick, or they're flavor meta dependent, and you just want to make sure you have the right complement cards. Taskmaster's incredible, but make sure you've got Wong, and then play a Black Panther down, double him up, and then finish it with Taskmaster. Probably going to win you most games, right? So there's different combos. You want to ensure that you have the right cards all together. Now let's go ahead and break down the strategy and the cards in today's best negative deck. These are the ones that people have been playing in the top 500. Very good negative deck at the moment. And the only strategy you really need to know is when to retreat and when to snap, right? If your opponent's not snapping, play the game out, see what happens. All is good. Retreat on turn 6. No skin off your nose. But if your opponent's snapping and you don't have Mr. Negative out, it's probably best to take a 1-cube loss. And I know when you're trying to climb, taking 5 1-cube losses in a row can feel pretty bad, but then you win an 8-cuber and you're right back and you're up +3, right? So it's all about that mentality with Mr. Negative, and then obviously snapping before Jane Foster. If you start out with the perfect hand and you have Zabu or Ravonna and you get Mr. Negative, that is no question, almost always, in my opinion, a snap. But let's go ahead and take a look at this deck. So in New Era Mr. Negative, of course, we've got the ramp cards, as I spoke about before, and the essentials, the Iron Man, Mystique, Arnim Zola, Noel, and Jane Foster. And that only leaves a couple of spaces for some alternate flex cards. That being said, these are your flex spaces, so feel free to swap these out, but these are all working really well in today's meta. The Killmonger there is probably the most perplexing with a Nihilus out everywhere. He's obviously very good. He's awesome against destroyed decks or just catching up in priority by killing Sunspots and Nebula. But this is your tech slot. You can replace this with Super Scroll, with Rogue. I also have Shang-Chi in here as well because playing a 3-4 Shang-Chi usually feels pretty good. And then I've got my 2 meta flavor picks being Black Panther that you gotta play with Arnim Zola, and of course, Mr. Alliance. Now, for me personally, this deck list right here has been absolutely slapping because I have all the tools equipped to go against and counter what they're trying to play, and then you can do a big turn pop-off. Probably the most important thing to take away from this video is when to play your negative cards, and most of the time, waiting later is better, right? You want to kind of bluff your opponent, act like you've been drawing nothing but just bad cards, and then you pull off a Null Arnim Zola combo, and they're going to lose. If you play Jane Foster down, obviously they're going to know, a good player will know at least, that you have at least some good cards with that combo. And sometimes, even if you don't, you can kind of bluff snap, although that is getting away from the dependability that we're trying to accomplish. Now, other than this, guys, with these flex spaces, Ironheart is a definite great card to be plugging in at the moment. And then, of course, Darkhawk, right? Just putting in Darkhawk and Rockslide in place of some of these other options, these flex spots, that alone is fantastic. Sometimes you'll get Rockslide a couple times and it'll piss you off and you could switch to something different. But I'm telling you guys, consistency is key in really mastering the art of bluffing and when to leave and when to double down. Now, let's say you have a very bad negative hand and you really haven't drawn much. So playing something like Iron Man or Black Panther down, I tend to go towards Iron Man most of the time on 5. And then, hey, if you top deck something like Arnim Zola on 6, that is typically enough to win you the match. Really, under no circumstances do you want to play Null or Iron Man early. You want to wait for the Mystique or possibly the Jane Foster play. You should get yourself a draw if you ramp out correctly on 4, 5, and then ultimately 6, giving you 3 negative cards. Or you can go 4, Jane Foster on 5, and then that's when you get, everything you need. With this deck in particular, Jane Foster's only pulling up 4 cards, so it's not a huge swing, but it's always enough to get you the win. And that's pretty much it, guys. We're going to go and hop into battles to show you guys how it works. Obviously, I had to retreat some games, right? So it's not perfect when playing Mr. Negative, but ultimately climbing super successfully, and even people playing at the top of stakes, top 100, are choosing to play Mr. Negative at the moment. So it's definitely performing at a pretty high level. With that, guys, let's go ahead and hop into our first match. All right, nowhere to kick us off. We have Ravonna, got the ramp card, looking good. Got the Black Panther, he's looking sexier than ever. And let's see if we can get ourselves Mr. Negative. Nice. That works out for him. Let's get Ravonna left side. Now, we're pulling a lot of our zeros. That's tough. Those 0 power cards, we obviously want to stay within the deck. We do have Null, so going up against Destroy for the most part is a great matchup. My God, it's beautiful. Oh my God, it's great, right? Like, this guy's still on top of the world because of Murder World. We got Mr. Negative. We're going to kill our Mr. Negative and make space. If we can Jane Foster, awesome. But either way, Iron Man, Noller in the deck. We've got Shang-Chi Killmonger. This is if we pull Zabu, it's a bit of a bummer here on the top. But either way, we're looking good. But he does have a 5-power Sabretooth. Gotta look out for that. Okay, well, this and this is pretty much a good old win, guys. We're not going to play that, though. We're not going to show our ace in the hole here. We could play an absolute disgusting play here, going with, like, Black Panther, Arnim Zola. With the free Null, we can go with Null and Mystique and play Eliath. Got a lot cooking for us here. Man, that guy's just doing us a favor massively. He has no idea he's playing for the wrong team. Okay, gotta love the Shang-Chi. At this point, this, and this is gonna be enough to win us what we need to win, right? We do need to try our best to get priority. So playing down Black Panther is probably advantageous. Okay, so typically I would say don't play your... Well, okay, he's going to leave. I get a free 4 cubes. I would say typically don't play this till turn 6. But our guy here is setting us up to win. Like, there's not much more ways around it. This is going to be the fastest retreat we've ever seen, ladies and gentlemen. Great. Fantastic.
Wakanda forever.
Does he leave immediately? Does his pride make him think that he can win this? Now, we can't play Mystique. I mean, we could. We definitely could. In fact, we could be disgusting and play something like this, which is nasty. But really, if we just look at it, he's going to have a Null, too, for what it's worth. Like, so this may not be the best because he could technically Null there, right? If we do this, followed by this, it's pretty much impossible for this guy to win. I mean, there's ways, but it's an uphill climb. Rather than if we doubled up, we could get 2 nulls, but that would be our only play at that point, and he could theoretically still win that. So this is definitely going to be the game plan here, but he should leave. Those destroy players every time. Every time. Do a quick, swift kick there to Venom. Yo. We're going to win this by... If this goes... Oh, okay, it doesn't matter. I was like, if this goes middle, the worst luck in life. Let's go, guys. Beautiful. The Shang-Chi gets us the dubs. And funny enough, if we would have Arnim Zola'd that, we would have won as well. So either way, and we get a nice 8-cuber. It's fantastic. A lot of Destroy at the moment. And as I said in the first part here, Destroy you're really good against, but also those Darkhawk decks, man, thinning your deck out can make them lose easily. Alrighty, guys, so we've got Ravonna Renslayer, got Rogue in the starting hand as well. Might want to put Shuri. I feel like Shuri's also just so good to throw into the Ravonna deck, because then at that point, Shuri's also discounted. And then you have like Shuri Black Panther as another win condition. This is fantastic. We're going to snap into that. He'll probably question why, but he'll see it in a second. And then we also have our Jane Foster. So this is like the perfect play, perfect hand. Okay. We got our Mystique. We could steal this and then play this, and it's kind of fun. Although we'd much rather that be the Iron Man. Ooh. Okay. Not bad. Gotta give it to him. All right, let's go Jane Foster. And we will chill with that. Let's look at what we want to do. This is awesome. So like this is good. He's snapping. Don't know why. We're going to go Mystique followed by the Iron Man. Hit up the Black Panther and then go here. I guess he could Goliath, but it's looking really rough for this guy to win. His big play was Onslaught, which I have no idea what world he thought that was going to beat Jane Foster negative. That's the thing. So there's a lot of great players that are like smart enough to never go up against this. But then kind of like Echo, you've got people that kind of feel like they can win, right? Now, obviously, the Cosmos stopped it there in the mid. Victory. And we got ourselves a very easy 8-cuber, man. One of the easiest we'll get. Alrighty, guys, so here we go. We've got our ramp card in our starting hand, so that's always a good way to get things kicked off. We have Jane Foster, Shang-Chi, Iron Man. And look at that. Like clockwork. We get our Mr. Negative. Now, we're going to snap now. If he retreats, we just gain a cube. If not, we keep on playing. With a good chance to win. We've got Jane Foster. I mean, this is almost a home run. If Iron Man wasn't in my starting hand, we'd be cooking. We got a Daredevil. And the Abby here. So, some people don't snap until they see the third location. And I can get that. It can definitely haunt you, but we're looking pretty good here.
Wind, aid my hand.
You usually don't have to worry about closed down locations because we have like Arnim Zola and other cards to get into that. We could just go this route. But we're going to play Black Panther middle here.
Wakanda forever.
All right, they ramped out, so they could technically play Goliath on this turn, which would be brutal. But we're going to be okay. We're not going to play Null here. We're just going to play down Jane Foster. But what's super cool, guys, is we pretty much win no matter what. We've got Null. We have Goliath. It's going to be tough for this guy to take priority from us no matter what. We're looking really good, right? If he just plays Goliath here, we're 10-2. That Zabu left side is looking really good for us. Cool thing is we pull... Oh, it's beautiful. Oh. Nice. Yeah, so this is a classic classic win, right? We play these two down. Don't even need to play Arnim Zola. I guess we theoretically we could. We could actually go like this to this. Try to scan Knoll. If that wins, great. Then play Alith. Either way, that's overkill, but let's do it. Cool. Oh man, guys, I really wanted to do that. Not gonna lie, really wanted to get that one. And then we kill whatever that was, get its points. Bada bing, bada boom. So really good example game. How like even with not the best predicament, you can still win pretty easily. All right, we have Disasterpiece, which fantastic name. This is tough, but this is great. This is not so great, right? Having both of these, but let's just see the other location, and then I'll probably snap here. Yep, that'll do it. I don't think we need to Zabu, but we can. I think we'll Zabu maybe even over here. I don't mind it. We'll have -1, but I think we can live with that. Cool thing is these days Zabu typically means like Darkhawk, and a lot of these guys are like, we can beat that. Now, cloning vats is such a good location, and Sherry's Lab for destroy. So, you know, take that for what you will. But we're going to play both these left side. We've got Black Panther that we can double up, do a bunch of crazy stuff with. And simply put, the fact that we have Iron Man, Arnim Zola, and Shang-Chi, and all of these can be cloned in cloning vats is disgusting. We don't have Jane Foster, so top decking that Killmonger could be really bad for us. But we're going to be okay, guys. He's got a pretty nasty, you know, setup here. But look at that. Like, this is this is gonna be stupid. So we do that, right? It's awesome. Followed up by a little bit of this. We could go Ravonna too, but no, we're gonna go with these two.
Enough said, bub.
Gladly take another Iron Man. I wonder when he leaves. Or you know, he's got a shot, though.
I am Iron Man.
Okay. That's tough. I'm not going to lie. That's a tough one to win against, guys. This will be one of those games. It's going to be one of those games where they're going to leave, probably. I don't see him sticking around with us having a Alith up our sleeve, too. Now, to be fair, there's some things he could do here. But not really. I'm just trying to remain positive for Disasterpiece over here. Kills the best card he possibly could.
Enough said, bub. I am Iron Man.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would venture to say things are looking pretty good. This is nice. Like, this is kind of nice. Yeah, he's out of here. But we were going to go probably with the Alith on the Sherry's Lab, followed by probably Arnim Zola. If it hits Ravonna, you know, it is what it is. And then we're going to win middle and most likely the right side. So, great battle and absolute just 2-cube masterpiece there. All right, we got MexaPrime. We top deck the Zopper. We have Mr. Negative. Great stuff. Not going to snap yet. Okay. Kind of annoying, but why not? We have Agent Coulson to play off the Zabu, too. We're just going to have to play off our cards pretty fast and loose here. Let's see what we're playing, and then we will snap. All right, so we don't know if that's Loki because that was created from the Triskelion. Mindscape is the definition of brutal. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we could top deck here, but let's see what happens. Got the Jane. Definitely don't want that. The Venom is a card. I think we're going to go with Mr. Agent Coulson here. Playing a much different game now. We're not really giving him all that much good stuff. All right, so obviously really good top deck there. He could just play a Lithe, so we got to look out for that a little bit. This is pretty huge. Yo, honestly, with the craziest playing of all time, we can actually win this. We're going to snap. Iron Man, Korg, Shadow King. We've got the lad in the middle to grab maybe something there. If he Elias middle, great. But, I mean, we're looking really good. I don't think he expects us to flip. We're going to flip the left side by 1, guys. Yeah, dude, this guy's got no idea what's about to happen. Free copy Ravona. Did nothing.
I am.
Absolutely nothing. This is going to blow his mind right here. He had no idea. Oh, it's so good. It's so good, guys. That was awesome. What a huge turnaround play. We got the 4 on the cubes there. And what a way to turn around like a really crappy location. This is what I like to call like the perfect hand, right? We've got we have all of our negative cards in the deck and we have ways to ramp it. So we just have like so much cooking for us. We've got Ravona that we will play in the middle. This is a little annoying, but with Mr. Negative, not near as bad. Obviously, fantastic Luke Cage there. And then we have Deep Space for the last card. Kind of tricky. Yeah, that's kind of on the tricky side, but this should be enough to win. We're going to snap here, play Mr. Negative down. We can win Deep Space by playing some cards into Negative Zone. Preferably like Null, and then we can Arnim Zola.
Wind, aid my hand.
And now that's looking like it's what we definitely want to do. We've got Mystique, which isn't very much help at all. And he could play... He's probably going to play something like, I don't know, Man-Thing or something in there. He doesn't have... this is going to be a weird play, guys, but I think I'm actually going to play Shang-Chi right here. We could even play... Yeah, this is good. Because what we can do is if he doesn't play there, we can just play like Black Panther left side. We have Killmonger for the demon. There's the Null. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be weird. Because this... Oh, man. So he's going to retreat, guys, but this is a classic example of why... of why I love everything. We're going to go here. We probably want 2 of these, though. He's snapping, too, so this is as good as it gets. He's not going to play a Lithe. He's going to play a Nihilus. It's tough with the Mystique, because this can mess with us a little bit. But either way, if we send the Mystique, we have 6. We kind of have to send the Null here. So doing this may just be ultimately better. So that it's 12, 15. We're looking okay. And then we can play the Killmonger if we want to. But you know what? If we do this now, we also have priority, which is nice. Yeah, we're going to actually go this to this to this. And just win the old-fashioned way. Right. Looks good, looks good. Kill the hood that hurts us, but kill the demon that helps us. Oh, he has priority, guys. He's got the prio. He's got the prio. Here's the thing. If he Elias, though, we could win here. Because of our double nulls. Right? My personal guess. This would add 7. I suppose if he does play a Nihilus and this comes over there, at which point we would lose then, I think. Yeah, but let's see what he ends up playing. Oh, he leaves.
Victory.
What a crazy man. Gives us 4 cubes off the top. So if he would have played a Nihilus here, right, we would have, I guess, lost because it would have sent this over to this side. But if he plays Goliath, which I don't think he did the math, but he plays Goliath, if he kills this, both of these get 5 more. He goes down. It goes to 15. We go up to, what, 19? All right, so we're seeing a lot of Miss Marvel. So we're teching in a little bit of Rogue for a match or so. To show that instead of Killmonger, both again work just fine. I like the Killmonger that synergizes with the Null. The Rogue, though, is obviously very good as well. We're going to play Ravonna. We're going to snap right away because we're going to play Mr. Negative into Quantum Tunnel. At that point, anything that comes out of Quantum Tunnel is going to be flipped on negative power. So this is just an instant 2 cubes here. He should leave when he sees what's going on. But this is the fastest 2 cubes we will ever get. So we zap. Not only do we get rid of the -1, but we replace it with, like, Jane, if you could imagine. Goliath would suck, but everything else looks pretty good. Yep.
Wakanda forever.
Does he leave? Ladies and gentlemen, right away, or does he stay? Looks like he's gonna stay. Looks like he's gonna stay. We'll go in and get Iron Man left side and not play into there. That's fine. And we'll probably go Arnim Zola, double the Black Panther both sides. By then he's gonna leave, and if he doesn't, whatever Arnim Zola plays out will flop.
I am Iron Man.
Interesting. He must have all the cards that he needs. We got the Null, which maybe will give this guy the confidence that he can win. We'll save our Null. Like, maybe there's a chance that by us killing this Black Panther, he thinks to himself, I've got a really big Null. I can still win. Swap the Arnim Zola out.
Wakanda forever.
Double 20s is going to be tough to beat. Oh! Yo, okay, so we're gonna act mad, right? Like, he got us now. Funny enough, though, that zaps the Arnim Zola still. So if we top deck Arnim Zola, we still get something. All right, then we have the Zabur. Okay, so... and he's out.
Victory.
That was a really good one. I mean, dude, look at this. We had, like, Null. We had the Rogue for his Null. We had Shang-Chi on the Venom. There's a million ways we could have won that. Great job. And there you have it, guys. That is going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed Mr. Negative. For those in the U.S., happy Thanksgiving. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the deck. It's a fun one, man. Definitely, you know, it's not going to be the top of the top, but it's almost as much fun as you can have in Marvel Snap. If you guys haven't already, it would mean a lot to me to subscribe. We only have about 40% of you guys as of right now this month subscribing, those that watch the videos here. So it would mean a lot, help support a ton. And as always, guys, until the next one, happy snapping.